Good afternoon. Let us just, for a minute or two, let us just remind ourselves what was the core of last time session. Last time session was number one, was that we said that leadership development is both faith and science. Then we talked about that leadership, self-leadership development or leadership development is interplay of looking into self, uh, empathetic interaction or communication with your stakeholders. This stakeholder can be anything, not only your organizational colleagues. It can be your friends. It can be your family members. Anyone who are connected to your life. Because we are talking more about self-leadership. Now, next, and we also talked about it, interplay is knowing your environment or the system where you are operating. Knowing the elements, how the feedback loop is created, how one impacts the other. So, I think Devamita has not joined, so I will start with her question. Many of you, there's an underlying thing is that whatever you are saying is that what is actually your understanding of yourself. That is very important. Looking into yourself is very important. But that doesn't give us a whole picture. I want to start with that category. Whatever we have seen in your questions, there is a hidden assumption that this is your assessment of yourself. But sometimes to develop yourself, other stakeholders' assessment of yourself or feedback is also important. Why? So let us get into a small thing called what is known as Johari's window. Why it is Johari? Because it was created by Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingham in 1955. It is a tool to analyze yourself. You can look up in the internet also, it is available. Johari's window is a tool to look at the different way of looking at yourself and how your stakeholders look at yourself. Used for people to better understand their relationship of self and others. Not only relationship, I will say that you understand yourself better. Because truth is always relative. Truth is real, relative. Sometimes we have to not only think what is truth, but also what is the perception of others about you. That is also equally important. Perception is important. And there is a necessity in self-leadership development because you have to interact with. Last time we have said self-leadership, though you are living self, you are working in an environment where other people are also are players. So managing perception is also a very important aspect of self-leadership. Empathetic response to others is important, but managing your perception about you is also equally important. A lot of us think that, but I didn't mean this. Maybe when we interact with someone, this is an often repeated sentence you hear that I didn't mean it. But you came across like that. So you need to ponder why you are coming across like that. I am not so selfish. Many of you will say, I am not so selfish. But why the other person is reacting as if I am thinking about only myself and nobody else? Maybe there is a some kind of a problem of your conveying your emotion to others. And so this, if you have a look, it is not rocket science. If you have a look with this thing, I don't know whether I'll keep it for some time. Try to read this. Can you read it? This
Yes, sir.
you can read it. Try to read it. I'll wait for 1 2 minutes. You can read it properly. Okay. Have you gone through it? There is basically the grids are there are rows and columns. Okay. There are four squares. Four square is that one square is what is known to yourself and known to others also. These are, for example, who are you, what your parents' name, what you have done, what it is known to everyone, known to everyone. Then there are certain things which not known to others, but known to yourself. There are many things which you don't divulge with other people. So it is not known to others. Okay. And so, example, can anyone give one example what is uh, not known to others but known to yourself? Something, one of the character, can anyone tell us?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Uh,
Gita. Tell me.
sir, I will try.
Uh,
Sir, like for example, what others don't know about me, but only I know about myself is even when sometimes I watch romantic comedy movies, I cry a lot. So
okay, fine.
people don't actually know that.
Okay, okay, fine. So that is the element of you. One of the characteristics other people don't. So when they judge you, the first thing is that they are not looking at you at in a total manner. They don't know about their certain thing. The most important thing is there are certain thing which that reddish or what do you call it, brick color square. Uh, what is the blind? What do we know as the blind spot or blind self? What others know about me? Others means at least those who are around me and interact with me know about me, but I don't know about it myself. Can anyone give me an example what it can be? Others know, I don't know. So you cannot give an example because the
Obviously.
moment you know, okay, okay.
Uh,
So let me so you cannot give an example by yourself. Somebody else can give you an example. A friend of you can give an example about yourself, or somebody who is working with you give an example. That your voice becomes very high when you are emotionally, uh, what do you call it?
Stressed
Spark
out.
up. There's a spike, then emotional spike, then your voice becomes this thing. Then there's the unknown self, what you don't know and what you others don't know. This is a dark square. Dark square can be sometimes very dangerous. You may not know that you are a serial killer. I was trying to tell Jabin yesterday that he may be a maniac, you don't know. So that is the dark square. We also don't know, he also doesn't know. Okay. Anyway, so you have seen that to know yourself better, the more portion, it is more of working with others around you. If your first square, the open self, becomes more and more bigger, it becomes easier to interact. So there is not much of difference between perception of others about you and what you know about yourself. First square, analyzing the first square is the first step of leadership development. Are you following me? Your open cell square, the blue square, it doesn't have to be equal, right? The open cell can become bigger, both horizontally and vertically. It can become bigger. Your information regarding yourself is known to more and more people. How do you do that? What is known to others, you divulge, you give feedback. What is not known to others, you give feedback, say they come to know. So what is not known to others square becomes smaller. Okay? And your blind self, you take feedback from others. So that square becomes bigger, or blue square becomes bigger, and blind self becomes, there are less and less things what others know about you, but you don't know about yourself, becomes smaller. So you take feedback from your friends, relatives, and your stakeholders, other stakeholders, people with whom you work. What do you think is a good? What do you think about it or about me? Would you give me a honest feedback to me? This is the very, very first step of leadership development. To a lot of people have asked me what are the strategies. Like Archita Kalita has asked me that question, and many others directly or indirectly has asked me that question. Ask us that question. That what is the strategies of leadership? Archita, can you elaborate what you are trying to say? Archita?
First of all, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that what are the strategies behind developing one's self leadership quality?
Strategies means you want to say that the steps. What are the
Yeah,
steps?
yeah,
Or the
Okay.
areas.
Okay. Okay. See, anything, this question has come from others also. Somebody else in a different way has asked this. Konkana has come, na? Konkana Sunwal.
Yes.
More or less the same question, but more specific that she owns a tea garden, but how they can do it. That is the last question given.
Mm.
And then Devamita, I think, has not joined as yet. So indirectly, she has also asked a question similar to that. Okay. So fine. So let us, if necessary, I'll repeat it when I come to that question. So strategies means you are taking a strategy is actually a more larger scheme of things. Here we are talking about actually certain steps. Steps to what? Steps to what? First thing is that what I am trying to achieve. So number one, why I am trying to achieve? Why? Because I want to be a more effective person, more successful person, and I want to develop myself in doing so. I want to develop myself. I want to look into myself. I want to take feedback from others and take a stock of my present status. And I want to develop myself to be more effective, which will help me to become the probability of my becoming successful becomes more. The moment I become more effective. And effective is a very, very relative term. You know that. So for that, what are the steps I am going to take? But before taking the steps, you have a look at this. Where I am going means what is my, if I call it my development plan, I when I strategize that my I want to become a better self leader, then I have to make a plan and take certain steps, execute that plan. So, but before that, everything is goal centric. Like we have got different traits of a self leader. Maybe time management would be one, whether I can plan, whether I have set a goal more concrete or not. Okay. Then how is my decision making ability? Okay. Then how is my communication? What is the level of emotional intelligence I have got? So and so. So it is the moment a goal comes, then I know that what are the core things. Without that, you cannot achieve that goal in your life. That becomes the number one priority of this. See, everybody, you cannot be a perfect human being. You cannot have all the abilities. You cannot have all the abilities of what is required for a leadership. I can try, but in some places I may get just 5 out of 10. And but there are some qualities like I want to become a somebody said that I want to have the public speaking. That means our communication has to be very good. Public speaking, somebody was talking about that towards the later part. Uh, the Ankit was saying, Ankit hasn't joined. See, he has joined. Ankit was saying that I want to become a good public speaker. So for that person, communication becomes very important. Other things are also important, other traits are also important, but it may not be equally that important. Empathy and communication becomes supreme. So your first target is to assess yourself. How are you faring? And assessing is nothing. Assessing is self-assessment and assessment of others. Simple. You it cannot if one fine day you don't get knowledge from heaven about yourself. You come to know about yourself when you think, start analyzing yourself more, and when you take feedback from others. And while giving the feedback, you have to getting the feedback. You have to give feedback also, so that the other person knows you better. Be careful whether other person is empathetic or not. Don't take feedback from non-empathetic people. That will be a wrong kind of feedback. You have to judge that. You have to be careful, and sometimes others' feedback may not be totally correct, but you should listen to it and think about it. Ultimate decision is yours, but you should think about it if somebody gives you a feedback. So, taking first is that setting your goal, and deciding what are the qualities or the trait you need to become successful in reaching that thing. That is the second thing. Third thing is that you assess yourself vis-a-vis those traits, where you stand. All traits are important, let me tell you. But specific to your goal, there are certain traits which are important and certain traits are not that important. Important, but not that. It's the question of the. So you have to prioritize your trait and address those traits. You have to have a coach because sometimes what happens, you may want to be a better communicator, but your understanding of others is not good. then you may have to become take that up understanding of others as your first step. Then only you can become a better communicator. Because communicator is whatever is in your mind or whatever you want to say, you are saying to the other person. How the other person is receiving your feedback, that is important. And that feedback doesn't become effective. You are not, if you are not receiving his or her feedback. His or her feedback doesn't necessarily mean that during the communication on process only the feedback comes back. But before doing the communication, if you decide what is the person, what is the qualities of the person, how the person would like to know things, what is the particular way of listening of that person, the moment you take it into account of all this, then you are actually taking her feedback. She is sending her certain signals about herself to you. You are taking those feedback from her. Non-verbal feedback. But these are always feedback. Your assessment is nothing but her feedback towards you. Am I complicating it, Gita?
No.
No,
Correct.
take it. Uh, so the moment you take, that means there are certain traits which you want to develop. It cannot be developed straight away. To develop communication, you have to have better, you want to have a good public speaker, but are you a good listener? You want to be a good public speaker, but do you have got focus? I'm giving your example, Ankit. Do you have got focus? Are you keeping yourself on the focus on the subject? What kind of focus? You have got information on the subject. So all these are important before becoming a better communicator. All these are important. And all this comes by practice. There's nothing, there is no pill that if you have that pill and suddenly you become a better communicator. People can give you only certain tips that you look into this, but through practice you become a better communicator. So, what I was saying that uh, not only identifying the skill gap, gap means actually the decrease. Gap is not you. Nobody has got zero kind of skills. You have got some kind of skills, even if it is 0.1, and you judge what is the level that skill has to be pushed to. Your skill has to be pushed. Out there, you have to prioritize. And out there, you have to take what has to be taken first, what has to be taken later. So, suppose for developing a skill, you need to have more information. Then, but you don't have the patience to read, sit through. So, the first thing will be you have to develop patience. And how does one develop patience? One fine day, you have to develop the control over yourself. Why you don't have patience? Because you want things too quickly to happen and things like that. But means you have to slow down your mind. So these are all interconnected. So you understand that and it comes through practice and you soon get restless. I have attended the workshop. I have attended some follow-up programs also. But still, I am not a better self later. You soon get restless. It comes to, without knowing, you will be improving by degree. Small, very small paced improvement. But the first thing is that, so that also help you in managing your perception. Perception about you by others. That is very important. Some people are taken very seriously, some people are not taken seriously. Why? Because you are sending signals. You have to be very careful about that. So identify skill gap, and these are not mechanical steps. You do lot of interaction, lot of talking, lot of thinking, it comes to. And what I was trying to do you know what is a dialogue? Dialogue is a thing. It's a flowing. What you are doing, the first level of dialogue is always better. Second level of dialogue is always more mature and more better than the first level of dialogue. Am I making myself clear? No. Can somebody tell me about dialogue? Hello.
Sir, could you explain it once again?
Yes, sir.
What have you understood? I was trying to talk about dialogue. Dialogue means between two persons, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. That two-person can be your inner self and yourself also, or others and you.
Yes,
You
sir.
are on a so you may start with something. Dialogue is like a river. You may start with something, but it is dynamic and it can go to the next level of discussion. You always understand that. Through questioning yourself, questioning others, you can go to the next level of discussion. Do you know somebody called Socrates?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How many people don't know who is Socrates? Kangana, do you know who is Socrates? Ankit? Yeah, Kangana. Do you
Yes,
know who is
yes, I
Socrates?
know it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know all of you must be knowing, but I just want to listen to your voice. So Socratesian questioning method is that suppose somebody come with a statement, any kind of statement. Who will come with any kind of statement? Okay, Gita, you come with a statement.
You want me
Say,
to come with a
come with a
statement?
problem. Come with a problem.
Okay,
Have you had your breakfast? Proper breakfast? No.
who, me?
Huh?
No, not really.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So why then I can ask you, why did you have your proper breakfast today?
Why didn't I have my a proper breakfast? I got busy with something in the morning. Speaking to my sister.
Acha, in that business, what do you mean by business? Being busy?
What do I mean by being busy? Oh, okay. You're going to ask me all the 5 questions. Okay. Okay.
No, I'm not
You're
going to
to.
ask the 5 questions.
Okay. Yes, I got busy in the sense I got sidetracked by something which I don't normally do. Okay.
Then
Out of my schedule.
Then I ask you a different question. Busy means busy in your mind or busy in actual physical sense, or
Physical
somebody
sense.
has taken your time.
Somebody has taken
So
my time, and yeah.
unannounced. Unannounced. You could have avoided it. Just now I got a phone call, unknown phone call, silent Aratha. I didn't answer. There's some courier guy has come. I didn't answer. So it is a priority also. So you go asking yourself questions. You go to the next level. That is what I am trying to say.
Absolutely.
That is what is called Socrates method. Socrates used different way. Let us say कि so and so. Let us talk about somebody that Nikita is very egoistic. Nikita, are you? Okay.
No, no, sir.
Okay, let us accept that
Okay,
Nikita
sir.
is very egoistic. Egoistic. So the next question is that Socrates will say, ki, what makes you think Nikita is egoistic? Because of her misbehavior. Then this behavior, did you know the reason for this behavior? This behavior comes every day, or but that method of questioning is that it is known as Socratean method of questioning. Also, it is known as that Socratean method of dialogue. And many management books like Peter Senge, Fifth Discipline, talks about dialogue in a big way. It talks about a river. Things are flowing, not steady. That's why he compares it with a river. Peter Senge, Fifth Discipline. That's the book about leadership within the organization, not for you people as yet. It is more of a for people who are learning uh, the who are trying to make a learning organization. That will at some point of time will, if some people are interested, we will talk about that. See, because I use the word learning, let me sidetrack a bit uh, and say learning is very, very important. Learning is very, very important. Take learning is also a from like a feedback. Like people give you feedback, events give you feedback. The behavior of people gives feedback. What are events? Events are nothing but relationship with you and other people, and a certain event has taken place because of that. I talk to you, we dance together, we go to office together, we have created a discussion together. Like we are doing this, this is an event, but this is an event, it's a dialogue between you and me. We have got into a relationship where you are ready to listen to me and I am ready to talk to you. And you are ready to, I am ready to take questions from you. That's a relationship. So what are you taking back from? So you are giving me feedback by questioning and I am giving you feedback. So feedback is, that is why feedback is very important, and why I am questioning, giving you feedback. Lot of things you'll understand that we are questioning you more than giving you solution. The whole idea is to question yourself. Just let us say. Whole idea is to question yourself. Again, because you cannot control others. But you can change the perception of others about you if that person is honest. But there are some people who you have to ignore them as stakeholders, who will think that whatever you do, my perception about you, I am not going to change. I don't like you. I hate your guts. So I am not going to change. But there are very few people, and this is very temporary in nature. Very, 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 very temporary in nature. The other day I was listening to an interview of somebody, I won't name, and political leader. He, the perception of his brother about him, because brother wanted him to become an IS officer. So perception was not very good. Till he started getting recognized by others. Even now he doesn't think, the brother doesn't think, elder brother doesn't think much about it. But perception changes over a period of time. Perception changes because you try to do it. But at the same time, what we get into the trap is that to change the perception, we try to change certain basic element of myself. I try to the biggest thing. Most of these you people are very young and women. I always tell my woman friend about this. Just after marriage, because all my friends are married. Just after marriage, you start washing your husband's underwear also out of love. Later on, don't complain about it. By doing that, in a effort to please the other person, you have changed yourself so much. Later on, you don't complain that my expectation is such. So, so perception is very important. Truth about yourself is very important. Like we are talking, I'm not going to repeat what I have said till now. Maybe some other time, some other thing. So the moment I know what is my goal, but the moment I know whichever way, by asking myself or by asking others, I come to an understanding that this is my weakness and this is my strength. Then I determine this is the way I have to go about doing. I have to strengthen these traits, and I don't have to give so much stress on these traits. Now, uh, once you do that, once you create that feedback system, and while you do it, you need to have a partner who will give you honest feedback. Suppose you are trying to improve communication and your friend is there with you. You ask that partner when you are conversing yourself with somebody else, ask that partner, how did I do it? And ask yourself also that could I have done it better? And if I could have done it better, which way could I have done it better? So it is the question, asking yourself questions. Start asking questions to your friends, to yourself. Okay. And remember, it comes, but it comes very slowly. When I met Gita back in 1995, I said that words are not important in 1995. Today, if you ask me, in a relationship, words are not important. Today, if you ask me, I'll tell you that words are very important. What kind of signals? Because so the next this thing. So you don't get restless, but the first thing is that you have to take feedback. Feedback from you, feedback from others. Decide. I'm repeating. This is very important. That's why I'm repeating. Okay. So Archita, are you listening? Archita?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
is it clear?
Yes,
Or
we are listening.
Yes,
you
sir.
so if you have noticed that slide, the last line is that then it's a loop. You go back to the first steps again. It's a
Yeah.
loop. You have to keep on going to the next level of your competencies. Keep on going to the next level. Archita, do you have got any question after that? I was trying to address your questions here.
No, sir. I'm
No,
clear here.
not right now. Okay, afterwards, maybe it doesn't
Yeah.
come immediately. Sometime. Devamita has joined. Joined. Yes. She has got similar kind of question. Devamita, can you read out your question? You have the questions with you?
Sir, I wanted to know how to take control of my life, which I
Ah,
find quite hard sometimes.
we have got the first part of this question also. I would like to know about how self-leadership can impact a person's life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll address. We'll come to your second part of your question afterwards. So what I
Okay,
have
sir.
said, now you are asking that in a different manner. we have talked till now, what is the state? How we are going to, how are you going to develop yourself? You ask a very core question. You ask me, by after doing that, what will be the impact? What self-leadership? If I lead myself, then what will be impact in my life? That is your question, right? And very, very, very valid question. I must know how it is going to impact me. If you ask me that question, that I'll take you back to what we have spoken last time. Last time is that by doing all this, what we have talked about just now in MDP, my development plan, by doing this, by improving yourself, you change the perception of others about you. You also improve your capacity to uh, deal with the environment. Different environmental element, and environment here I am taking other stakeholders and elements within the environment. You in a better position to not control but manage your environment and adapt yourself to that environment. So the moment you do that, the chances of your becoming more successful becomes more. Whatever successful is actually what you're achieving your goals. It becomes better. It becomes better. So it improves your basically because of what? Because when you are interacting with others and you are having relationship with others, everything the other day, Dr. Gita also insisted on the fact that it is a relationship. Everything is a relationship. When you are engaging with the environment, you are engaging in a relationship with others. When you are engaging in that relationship with other, if your relation is more meaningful, more effective, your dealing with the relation is more effective, you have a better chance of dealing with other people and better chance of success. That is how self-leadership impacts your life. And if you ask me, that is maybe fifth level or something like that. If you ask me, you become more calm and peaceful. It's almost like a meditation. Once you go into the process, you slow down a bit. Because I know people, I am also surrounded here in my organization by young people. So I know the restlessness. So maybe we are not so restless because the pressure was not much on us. थोड़ा सा एमए पास करने से कुछ तो खा ही देते हैं आजकल वो सिचुएशन नहीं है so the pressure was not on us. I don't blame you. The pressure to prove in the process, don't lose yourself. In the pressure to prove yourself, to get to success, don't lose yourself. Because if you do that, you won't get the success also. So you won't get the success also if you try to do that. Because you lose whatever competences you have got, right? So that's how it impacts. But my biggest this thing request is that if you go on this journey of self-leadership, it comes you down. It comes you down. It puts things into perspective. It makes you more objective. Doesn't the word I goes from your mind? I am this. I want to do this. I am right. You may not be right all the time. Right is again a relative term. Right vis-a-vis achievement of your goal, vis-a-vis your relations. Okay. One of my these are all taking decisions. But my biggest this thing, and you won't get anywhere in any book. I have told many of my mentees, basically in the corporate world, sometimes not taking a decision itself is also a big decision. The going is such that things are going out of control. Like that brings us to this next question of, I think, Devamita, that it crumbles, right? Devamita,
Yes, sir.
it crumbles. What crumbles? What was the question?
Sir, it's hard for me to take control of my life, and even if I decide on activities, just like on the plan here, development plan here,
Uh,
mm, I can't go on with the plan. I can't follow it all the time.
why? Why can't you follow?
Sir,
Have you
I
asked
lose
yourself?
um, when what I think does not happen. I lose
Uh,
confidence.
whatever you think doesn't happen. I think this question, many person has asked this question in some way or the other. That motivation, I get demotivated.
Mm.
I lose confidence. Okay, many people have asked this question. So I will invite Gita to. I think this question is asked in a way by Violina. So Violina, can you read out your question? Violina has joined. No, no.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Violina. Can you read
Yes,
out your
sir.
question?
Sir, actually, I don't have the screenshot of my question.
Okay, it is how to boost leadership qualities. There are times when
Was
we
it
feel low and demotivated. How do we overcome that?
how to boost leadership qualities? Okay, fine. That we have talked about. There are times when we feel low and demotivated. How do you overcome that? Okay. And then just now Devamita also asked that question. I start, but it doesn't happen the way I expected, and that is. And then Nikita has got a question. I get demotivated also. What, Nikita? Your third part of your question. What was it?
Sir, actually, sir, it was regarding means the end results of everything that I do.
Even because of from your team members, what you expect doesn't happen.
No, that's third
Uh,
part.
third part. Third part. Okay.
You said that the journey is
Re-
important.
result doesn't happen according to this. And then somebody else has also asked that question. Okay, fine. Uh, even Abhinash's question also actually related to that. Of course, Abhinash will deal separately. It is more of a trust, I think. Gita, can you talk about the demotivation? Why demotivation happens? Actually, how it happens? How one can overcome that?
Yeah. See, motivation is basically a completely internal process. Okay. I mean, like, what exactly is it? It's like we set off to do something, right? We start on a journey, or we have a goal, or we have a destination, and then we set off on that destination. Okay, we set off, we tell ourselves that we are not actually looking at the goal. Okay, we have been talking about how the journey is important, how your learning is important, how you change is important, because when you learn, you change. It's a continuous process. Okay, so you set off on that journey. You set off on the journey of achieving your goal. Okay, and you tell yourself, "Ki, I am learning. I am on this journey. I am learning." Okay, something happens. It may be something, some external circumstance that may be the thing which happens to you, or it may be something which you yourself have done, and you feel that the process has derailed, or you don't see, you thought that, okay, within this time I would be reaching this place or going so far, and you find that the time has come and gone, and you haven't reached that point. Okay, so you feel that what you have done is a waste, and that's when that dissatisfaction of not reaching that place or not seeing something happening is what is the first step in your demotivation process. You start to lose the motivation to proceed further on that path. Why? We tell ourselves, because at every point, sometimes when we have a goal, even when we say ki we are not looking at results, we have expectations from ourselves, not expect somebody else's expectations. Sometimes there is someone else's expectations also. That's why the environment, the people with whom you interact, the people who influence you are very important in your process of self-development. They are important because you have given them that importance. Right or wrong, I'm not here to, nobody can judge that except you. Okay, so we are going on a path, we have started doing something, but sometimes not just the final destination itself, we also have markers on the way. I go up to this point, this is what I'm going to get. I go up to that point, this is what I'm going to get. The next point I'm going to get. These are expectations. And when these expectations, according to you, are not fulfilled or are not realized, then you tend to get into the process of losing your motivation. You say, I am demotivated, or I have lost my motivation because my expectations have not been met. And expectations are something which are very natural. Even if we say that we don't expect anything, we still expect something. Actually, when we say we don't expect anything, we expect more. Okay, so it is a need. So this is the process which starts the whole ladder of spiral of demotivation. How can you overcome that? There are no quick fixes. In the entire leadership development process, there are absolutely no quick fixes.
No what?
Quick fixes.
Quick fixes, yes.
Yeah. It is knowing, experiencing, getting through, pushing yourself through that desolate feeling or that demotivated feeling. For that, you need to know where that feeling is coming from and why it is coming. Why is it coming? Is it because of your own expectations? Have you really not achieved anything? By going on a journey so far, have you really not achieved anything? Are your expectations, are they reasonable? Or are you overreaching? These are the things that you need to just pay a little attention to and look at. Sometimes when we look at that and we and if we can shift our focus back, it needs a little bit of pushing ourselves. No, yes, the minute something happens and something you feel that the whole thing is crumbling you have lost it and you don't want to, and you there is no reason to push further, just take a step back. Take a step back, relax, and understand always that whenever you put a step forward, you are learning. You have actually picked up something. You have learned something. You have changed. There is a change within you. Even this process of demotivation is also a change. That means you're recognizing something. So nothing is negative. But if you continue on that path and you'll stop it at that point, then you are doing yourself a disservice. So it is important to look at yourself critically, but it is very, very important that you be kind to yourself. We tend to be the worst critics of ourselves. We are the harshest critics of ourselves. I didn't do it. I'm useless. This will not work for me. I cannot do it. Don't do that. The minute you start doing that, you will not be able to, you'll be looking for everything externally, and that is not going to help you. The strength is within yourself. You just need to take a step back, relax, and tell yourself that everything is fine. I'll start again tomorrow. Let me take a look at this tomorrow. Let me look at it again after a break. Let me not get overburdened. Let me not overburden myself. No one else is doing it for you. You're doing it for yourself. And just as you can demotivate yourself, you can also motivate yourself. And that is the only thing which works. Self-motivation is the only thing which works. Motivation from outside, today I may say, and tomorrow Dilip may say, day after tomorrow somebody else may say, okay, you do this, you do that, and you will achieve your goal, but all external motivation is fine up to a point of time. After that, it's what you believe. That is the most important thing. Your belief, your conviction. Someone talked about consistency also. Your conviction that I am doing this for this. And I am on a right path. Question your path. And then go again. Yeah.
Whose question was this? Many people.
Yeah.
Somebody was talking about conviction.
Consistency. I am not consistent. Mandeep.
Has Mandeep joined? No. Okay, fine. So he cannot explain. And Pallavi, what is this emotional control you are talking about? Pallavi, join.
Yes, sir.
What is this emotional control you are talking about? Can you explain it to others, all of us?
Actually, sir, sometimes it happens that due to my emotional decision, I take some decision, then it all messed up. Afterward, maybe I think and think in very emotionally, maybe.
No, I didn't get. Have you got it? Gita?
Yeah, sometimes she thinks very emotionally, and the result is that she feels she messes up. Am I right,
Achha.
Pallavi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. You
There
want
is
me
a
to
lag
answer? You answer.
from your side. There is a lag. So
Yeah,
you
slight
answer
lag.
that.
Okay.
Right, right.
Okay. Okay. Um,
Answer that. I'll
no, you talk. I'll add on.
see becomes too emotional.
Hmm.
Let me
Express.
ask Pallavi, why you become too emotional? What do you think?
So don't know. I don't know why I'm like this, but I usually usually think very emotionally.
Like, give me an example.
Mm,
I'm trying to
So
understand, not
that
trying to. Uh,
It's okay. Take your time and do it.
I'm trying to understand.
Pallavi, take your time and do it. We'll come
Uh,
back to you.
we'll come back to you. You
Yeah.
are trying to give us an example, okay?
okay,
But
okay,
but
sir.
but don't you think? But I'm asking it is anybody. I don't want to say. What is this? Many of the things of demotivation and emotional control happens, uh, emotional non-control actually, when things gets out of control emotionally. So happens because what are you trying to prove? Ask that question. Ask that question, Nikita, Halina, whoever has asked this question about demotivation. All of you have asked that question. Can anybody tell me that what is going on in your mind? I am getting demotivated. Why I am getting demotivated, because the result is not as I had
Not
expected,
visible.
not visible
Hello.
or not as good as I had expected. Marlena, you wanted to say something? Yes, please.
Yes, actually, I think many of the time it comes because we compare ourselves with others. Like I think in today's world, where social media is a part of our daily life, I think many of the time we get demotivated because we compare ourselves to others whom we think we are so perfect, why we are not so perfect. I think that is one reason. There can be many reasons, and uh, I think that is one because sir, I'm an artist. I mean, I do some paintings and stuff like that, and I upload them in Instagram. So what happened recently, I cannot concentrate on my paintings like before. In before, I it was very spontaneous. I can draw anything I want, and my imaginations were spontaneous. But then after that, by seeing other painters and artists in Instagram, I started comparing myself, and then for sometimes now, I feel like my arts are not good, my paintings are not good. So someone in my friend list, they told me, maybe because you are comparing too much about yourself. So I
Okay.
think
Why do
like
you
that.
compare? Why do you compare?
So I think that is, I don't know, that comes very naturally to
Why do you
compare.
compare? Because
I
you
feel
want to get more reaction in social
no
media,
sir, no
more good
sir.
comments.
No, sir, I feel their arts are very perfect and realistic, and mine are very animated and not good like that.
Mm,
I know there could be different types of art forms, but then the realistic ones just stands out of the others.
exactly. There are different art forms. That is
Yes,
what I
sir.
am trying to say. That's you. The way you do things. Instead of comparing, you compare with yourself. You
Yes, sir.
ask the question, ki how, what I think, how can I do it better? We want appreciation very quick. That is the problem.
Yes, sir.
People need recognition. I won't say ki you don't need recognition. recognition. When people praise you, everybody feels good. Everyone, including me, everyone feels good when somebody praises you. Okay? So,
Yes, sir.
and I won't say that is not required. That is required. But don't give overemphasis on it. When you are clear, sometimes it is important not to overexpose, not to have overexposure of about your talent. Have you seen when a building is being built, it's always covered with blue sheet or green sheet. Have you noticed that?
Yes, sir.
In fact, in many cities, it is a legal requirement that you have to cover itself, not with very flimsy material, what we do in Guwahati, but you have to have a proper concrete, tin kind of a thing surrounding that, so that people are not injured. But you can look it in a different manner also. Outside people are not disturbed or injured because the bricks may feel fall or something like that. So in Guwahati they have started doing it, but it's very flimsy material they do it. That green color flimsy cloth they give it. It doesn't protect anybody from anyone. But that covering it yourself when you are growing, when you are developing something, is very important. Don't expose yourself too early. This is for all of you, because when you are trying to, now you are going to go on a self leadership mode. Then when you are doing it, why are you doing it? Many of the questions you won't be able to answer. Many of the nitty gritty of the process you won't be able to answer. You'll be doing many things on the gut feeling. So should not be in public scrutiny when you are doing it. Suppose you are developing your communication. This method is right, this method is wrong. You'll find out yourself. Just be present, you'll find out yourself. Don't have to go on saying, how am I doing? Though I am talking about feedback, try to get feedback only from people who uh, expect well for you, genuinely want something good to happen to you, who will give honest assessment. At the same time, they will want something good to happen to you. They won't try to pull you down. So, in your kind of a situation, that one upmanship, avoid that. Recognition important. There's nothing wrong. Recognition, and sometimes you have to show what you are doing to others so that you get a feedback how you are doing. That is a way of learning. Take it as a way of learning. If you are recognized, it's very good. Let me tell you something here, which I want to tell you. This is more from, because I'm 60 plus, I can tell you this. That success or achievement will come. For some people, it comes very fast, quote unquote success, because many of the very quick success may not be success actual or sustainable. That's a separate thing. I don't want to get into that. Let us accept that some people get success very fast. Some people don't get. But take it from me, you'll get success. Be honest to yourself. Be honest to when you are ready. When you are ready, the very fact that you are ready, I have come into your life, Gita has come into your life. Even however temporarily. You are ready. You are thinking about something. That's why we have come. This was announced online. Many people saw it. Maybe they are not ready. That's why they didn't come. They are not ready. When you are ready, have that faith that when you are ready, success will come to you the way you want. Maybe the way you want today is not right, right goal or right success. That's why it is getting delayed. Have that faith. You may not get recognition today. It's okay. Try. Don't overexpose yourself. Recognition, you are getting feedback. That is important. Recognition is also a kind of a feedback. You take it that. Recognition is also a kind of a feedback. You think about that as a feedback. From that recognition, what I am learning, that I am on the right path. Okay? I'll tell you one thing. I had many ups and downs when I was very young, early 30s, in my personal life. I met Gita much later. In my personal life, I had many ups and downs. So you start having self-doubt. Then you come out of that and you start doing work and things like that. You change places. Then you become little bit successful, but you are not very sure whether you are on the right path or not. That's why recognition is very important. The moment I got some big recognition, big award in 1997, then it start giving you confidence. I understand that. But don't put too much importance on it. Because when I look back, maybe I'll say, even if I had not got that recognition, it would have been okay. Heaven wouldn't have going to fall. I got a fellowship, very competitive fellowship. But had I not got that fellowship also, it would have been okay. When I look back some 25 years backward, I can tell you that it would have been okay. On that day, it was very important for me. So try to put things in a holistic manner. Try to put things in proper perspective. I'm not saying that it is not important. Somebody saying that you are doing a good job. Alina, you feel good. Why not? You get it. But don't give too much importance on it. If that doesn't happen, my life is gone. How many likes you have in your Instagram or Facebook? Hello? How many likes you are going to have in your Twitter or Instagram? How many share is a determination of what you are.
Yes, sir.
You are totally different. You are totally different from others. Accept that. Don't change yourself to get somebody else's acceptance. That is the worst thing you can do. That is the worst thing you can do. Huh?
Expectations.
Expectation. Somebody else is expecting you to behave like this. That's why you are behaving. Don't do that. You won't be happy. It won't take you anywhere. It won't take you anywhere. Be confident that you are shaped in a different manner. Your gene is, even scientifically also, your gene is different. You grew up in a different manner. So how can it be like somebody else? So why do you compare? I am not saying that that person is good or bad. But why do I compare? I compare myself. I look into my past, even a day is a past. Look into my past and say that could I have done it better? So what I am trying to say is that please compare, but don't compare with others. You please criticize yourself, but criticize in a manner, could you have done it better? Ask that question. Ask that question. And feel good about it. Don't think too much. Tomorrow a very good news came.
yesterday.
Then I asked told Jebin about that. Very good news. We are not very sure about whether it is going to fruitful and not fruitful, but very good news. I told Jebin about that. Jebin has got many questions on that, very scientifically, very IT expert wise. She has got many questions, pinpointed questions. And I mean, you enjoy the moment that somebody has recognized something for you. Enjoy that moment. That's about it. Don't think too much. Don't think too much. Nobody can predict. Compare yourself. Compare yourself only with yourself, not with anybody else. Because what you are developing is different. Compare yourself. If I compare myself, my leadership development teaching style is totally different from anyone else. People will say, what the hell this person is doing? But I think that I am being effective with many people, and I believe that this is important. Mixing up faith with steps, mixing up faith with structure is important. We have to be scientific, but there are certain things which doesn't come out of structure. It is unknown, unexplainable. So that is art. It is not 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Right is not like that. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Everybody would have done it. There's something, some element, the gray matter. Everything is not black and white. There are certain gray. In fact, life में gray बहुत ज़्यादा है. It's like 6 and 9. I was giving that example. I think not here, somewhere else. So it can be 9 also. It can be 6 also. So it's gray. So question yourself. I think that about the consistency question, he has joined. I think the guy. Anyway, we'll come to that afterwards. So whom I was talking to, Violina, right?
Yeah.
Was I talking to Violina?
Yes, sir.
Was I talking to you about this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So you have got any other question?
No, sir. No question. No.
No question right now. Okay, fine. Somebody was trying to formulate a question. Who was trying to formulate a question? We are about to give you time.
Pallavi was supposed to give an example.
Who was that?
Pallavi was
Pallavi.
supposed to give an example.
Can you come back with that example?
Hi. Hello. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't say no to others. Means if someone say me, "Okay, Pallavi, please do this for me," I know I can't do it. Whether sometimes I can do it, but still I try to do that. Means like that, and also um, it's since if someone says, can you please do this for me? I will give
I
you
got your
something.
point. I got your point. Somebody is saying the same thing with me. Who has said that? I missed the name. Kasmira said that it's same thing with me. Kasmira, you have got an example? You can't say no?
Yes, sir. Even now,
Same
suppose
thing.
yes, sir. And sometimes, what happened, like yesterday, what happened with me, because for my PhD, okay, I have scheduled a meeting with my respondent, and at that time, one guy called me, and I could not say, I could not concentrate his sentences and questions, na. But I don't know. At that time, I was in dilemma where to focus means. Okay. So lots
Where
of
to?
time
Focus.
where to
Focus.
focus. Means
Okay.
when an interview or means he is also in urgent situation. Then means I could not means listen to him properly. And then again, evening I talk to him. That at that time I could not focus in your words. So and then
Yeah,
again,
that's
this
the right
happened
way.
with-
I
yeah.
told you. Yeah. Giving the feedback while you can focus to your friend is the right way. It can be a friend, it can be your boss, it can be your teacher. Giving the feedback is the right way. And Pallavi, uh, why can't you say no? Because you are scared that you are going to offend that person.
So no, not because of that. I don't want to hurt that person by saying no. That's the point only. But
Because
afterward, it becomes means
Too much.
massive. Yes, ma'am.
It becomes too much. Yes.
It becomes too much for me to handle all
yeah,
those.
then
Yes.
it's a better see if you can't say no. Sometimes you cannot fulfill the expectation of the others by saying yes today, but tomorrow you come to know that you have not been able to fulfill the expectation of the other person.
Yeah.
So, so it is better to be not fulfilling the expectation today instead of spending time on it, still not fulfilling the expectation. Most of the time, it happens that I don't say no, though I know that I won't be able to give time or it is not my priority. So still I say yes. I try to help. Helping others is a good thing. Helping others is a very good thing. After all, had our parents not helped us and thought about only themselves, we would not been what we are today. They have thought about us, our parents, our relatives, whoever was with you, they have thought about us. Thinking about others is not a bad thing, but everything has to be in moderation. Everything has to be in moderation. If this is not a right and destination, uh, do everything which you won't repent later. Suppose it was a life and death question for somebody. You didn't help. Something happened to that person and you repented afterwards. The entire life you will be repented that I didn't help the friend when the time of she needed me. So think from your point of view. Then similarly, the other side is also very important. Don't help and then later repent. That I helped, I gave time to that person, but see, because of that, I am missing out on this. I didn't fulfill my goal. You want to add something, Gita?
Yeah. See, where Pallavi is concerned, I mean, see, helping another person or, deciding to help another person is a very emotional decision. Okay. And like, you just ask yourself why you're doing it. Okay. Does it satisfy something within you? Does it in any way, even fleetingly, does it give you a feeling of, okay, like, a feeling of satisfaction? Okay, yes, I'm helping this person. If that is the thing, then it's one thing. But if you do it out of a sense of, I cannot, I mean, like, I don't know how to say no. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. When that happens, when it's like, I don't really know how to say no. Okay. The one way is to just take a step back and say, don't say no, because you can't say no. You're not used to it. And it's not that easy when you've been a person who generally likes to accommodate people. It's very difficult to say no. Instead
Yes,
of
ma'am.
trying that, just try saying, let me think about it. Give yourself a little bit of time. It's like buy yourself a little bit of time. You're still not saying no, right?
Yes,
Because by saying no, you may feel, the thought in your mind may be, if I say no, I'll be hurting the other person.
Yes.
But believe me, take it from me, nobody gets hurt. Okay. Sometimes if I know that you are a person who will, who will never say no, I tend to put a lot of things on your head simply because I know, okay, she'll do it. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, she'll do it. Okay. So what happens is people tend to start taking you for granted. And it is that taking you for granted that we start getting resentful about. Everybody takes me for granted. They
Yes,
know that
ma'am. Exactly that.
if they know that if they ask me, I won't say no, and they expect me to do it. Okay, so we get very irritated when it's like the example which Dilip gave in the beginning. Some of his friends, friends, as soon as they get married, they start doing everything for their husbands, and after a point, the husbands start expecting it. It's a matter of taking it for granted, and when they expect it, then we start feeling woman starts feeling he is taking me for granted. I mean, I have to do everything. Okay, but where has the thing started? Okay, so for you at this point, it's very difficult to just come out and say no, I won't do it. In fact, some of the people may not even accept your no. Okay, if they're so used to you, they're used saying yes, they may say, they'll just ignore your no and say, please do it. So instead of saying no, try to say, give me some time, let me think about it. I cannot promise you.
Okay, ma'am.
You start it the first time, Pallavi, take it from me, it will be very difficult and you'll feel very bad. I am not kidding. Okay, when you refuse, you will feel, why did I do it? It's not me, I'm not this person, why did I do this and all that. But deep down there will be a feeling of satisfaction, a feeling of achievement. Yes, I did not do this. You'll feel happy about it deep down. Okay, so try it. Try saying, let me think about it, I cannot promise you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So, Pallavi, it is, see, when you say, I can't say no, that means
Yes, sir.
there is you have already recognized the issue. So,
Yes,
how are
sir.
you going to do it? It's totally in your court. Now, I think Mandip has got a very small question about conviction, consistency and conviction. No, sorry, consistency. So, Mandip, can you repeat your question?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Can I have the question?
Mandip, your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mandip, ask your question.
I think he's looking at it.
Okay, let me tell what was Mandip's question. Okay, sir, I have problem with being consistent. I want to be consistent and determined with my stuff. I make plans and try to be consistent. Also, I do, but after a few days, I get demotivated and I am not willing to do. Again, demotivation. He has missed that demotivation part because he has joined late. You may briefly talk about that again, and maybe then you talk about consistency. I think both are linked.
Both are linked. Let me go with consistency and end up there. Okay. See, consistency is largely depends to a very large extent on our conviction in what we are doing. Whatever we start out to do. See, we look at something, or we think of something, or we imagine something, or we see something, and we decide to go ahead and like, let's do this. Okay. But, and you start doing it, and somewhere down the line, you just stop. Okay. And you feel that it's not worth it. You're not going ahead with it. You don't do it. And you tell yourself that, okay, this is because I don't have the motivation to do it. Motivation stems from conviction. The thing which you started to do, are you really convinced that you want to do it? And sometimes it is the thing itself that you want to do or don't want to do. And sometimes it is a process. Do I want to do it in this particular way? Somebody else has done it. Do I want it? I'm following the same path, but do I want to do it in the same way? Okay. So if there is even a little doubt, okay, or a lack of conviction, then you are not going to complete a task, no matter who it is. See, for I'll give an example. We generally we do workshops. Whenever we do a workshop, we do it with people. Okay, so now we have to change the module totally, and we are now doing it online. Okay, so it requires a lot of conviction on our part to pursue this, because we actually like seeing people and interacting with them, looking at their faces. We get our feedback. Communication feedback always comes when we see the person. We know what they're thinking. We know whether they're following it. We know whether they're with us throughout the way. And especially, and this is more so in case of these areas, leadership areas. Okay. So to change over into this and do this, it requires a lot of conviction that yes, people need this no matter what the style is, whether it is face to face or whether it is over the internet, right? So it's a matter of how convinced are we in this particular aspect or in this process. We are convinced about leadership development, and so we are making do with different processes. Even if we may not be totally convinced about the process, we are convinced in the goal. So whenever you feel that you lack consistency, question your conviction. Do I want this? Is it the right thing for me? Is it the right way to do it? Once you question that, the answer, your further doing that or not doing it will depend upon the answer you get to those questions. So and that is also a way of motivating yourself again. Do I really want to do this? Want to do this?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You won't be able to do a thing in a big way or in a long term if you don't love that particular thing. If you don't love your vocation, you won't be able to. To remind you that last time I said, every vocation is not as romantic or as you see. There are a lot of blood and hard work, blood and what do you call it? Sweat.
Toil. Blood and toil.
After every small achievement you see, there is a lot of routine work, putting things into structure, thinking in structure, doing things in structure, doing the routine, getting up early in the morning every day, and doing the same thing again and again and again and again is a lot of routine work. If you don't love it, you won't be able to do it. So that is the thumb. Don't try to do something which you don't love it. It don't sustain. It don't sustain. But those who have too many things. But Mandeep, is it? It's okay. He is
Yes,
fine
yes,
with
sir.
your
Yes,
explanation.
yes, sir.
Now,
Yes,
Anything
Avinash,
further you would like to ask?
you have got some more
yes, sir.
questions, Mandeep?
No, no, sir. No, sir.
No. Avinash has got a very interesting question. You want to repeat your question?
Yes,
Please.
sir. Good
You're
evening,
an
sir.
artist. What artist? Painter
Sir,
or you
I
do
have
painting?
completed the degree 11 years, and sir, I do paint also. I make portrait also and sculpting also, clay sculpting or molded anything like that.
Sculpting.
Sir, I live in Tejpur, Solmara, sir.
Acha, acha. You have told me. You have told me. Okay, fine. Ask your question.
Yes, sir. My question was that I started like that I am an artist. I believe and I believe and feel that I am a positive and confident person, and maybe I'm a system thinker too. But the
Mm,
main problem that I have been facing with myself is that, sir, I prefer working individually rather than
mm.
the rather than a group. Rather than in a group, as I feel that when I work alone, only then I am able to give my 1000%, sir.
Acha,
So,
happiness. I got
yes,
your
sir.
point. Also, as I like in working spirit and capacity, how should I try to develop it? Why do you want to develop it?
Yes.
When you know that, you give, you are
Because,
better working alone. Why do you want to work in team?
sir, I also know that in every area or every situation, individual works are not so means I can do better with team or in a teamwork in some situation in some area artistic
Very
way,
Mm.
but I'm telling it for the life only, in a game or in something group projects or assignments or decorating something or designing something
Mm.
or any surprise party, decorating surprise party or surprise room, anything like that, means doing something in a group that uh, um, brings a situations like I'm not like a team
Comfortable.
working, yes, team
Mm.
working person.
Mm. Mm.
why, 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 Avinash?
Because sir, because maybe I prefer or because, sir, maybe the main thing is that I am not able to show or make others to um, know what I'm thinking, means sorry, sir, I want to say
Uh-huh.
that means uh, people don't understand me or my ideas or my creativity,
Mm.
so I also don't want them to make them understand. I prefer to do it alone and uh, do the work done. That's
Get the
simply,
work
sir.
done. Mm.
But I think he has replied himself. And what do you think is the remedy? If at all do you want to remedy it?
Um, sir,
Hello.
Yeah.
sir, sir, what you were saying, sir?
What do
Can
you
you repeat
think is
once?
the solution? If you at all want to solve that, I prefer working alone. I may not want to solve it. I continue working alone. That's okay.
Yes, sir, but that only, sir, I
But
think the
there is
solution
something.
is yes,
Can
sir.
I ask a question, Avinash?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Um, uh, is there a need, or do you want to associate with other people, be a part of a team? Is there a need, like, do you think more projects or more assignments will come your way if you are a member of a team, or do you think that there are some assignments and projects where people with different capacities are required, not just people with your talent, but other people with experience and talent in other areas are also required to complete a project? Is there something like that on the cards?
Yes, ma'am. As you told, as you said, ma'am, that second one is, I think the second one, that every capacity is um needable. So in a
No, do you
particular
have?
area,
Yeah, yeah. Yes, please
uh,
go ahead.
in a particular area, that if I have a talent of art or craft, anything like that in a
Mm,
creative work,
mm,
then I also need a practical person to think like a practically, or business or political person to improve that area,
mm,
to improve that area actually.
mm.
And that's simple, that's simple, that's it,
Uh-huh.
that's only.
See, that is more your forte, Dilip. He basically, it's that combination. You need a business guy also, marketing guy also. You need a this thing also. You need different people,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Please.
I think he
Yes,
is
ma'am.
having a problem with the internet.
नहीं नहीं, he can hear. आप बात कीजिए. You talk, because it's about, it's I think basically work based more than anything else. It's not that he wants to, or he can be, or he needs it more than wants it.
Yeah. Uh, Hello.
Yeah,
You
So,
want me to answer that?
yeah.
Okay. Abhinav,
yes, sir.
let me give with an example.
Yes,
I
sir.
had the opportunity to uh, coach or mentoring one guy who is exceptionally brilliant and an international businessman today. Exceptional Calcutta based guy. He's a Tamil but based at Calcutta. Uh, 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 but he is a uh, his problem was he was always in the second rank of the company I was trying to handle the activity. His problem was I watched his team meeting one day. He's the leader of the team. I watched his team meeting and I just pointed out to him he is trying to explain too many things when the concept itself the other team members have not got it or accepted it. He is explaining the nitty gritty of how to go about doing it. So basically, the your issue, Abhinav, you have accepted the fact that for your kind of work, you need person with different capabilities. They may not. You must think what is the purpose of your communication with that person. The person has to go and market, suppose market your or sponsor get sponsorship for you. For that, how much that person need to know. So you have to think that what is the your funder or sponsor would like to know, may not like to know about the technique, may like to know in a more of a layman's term. So instead of giving theory to that person, you have to give in slightly in layman's term, explain the thing, what you are trying to do and what you expect him or her to go and talk to the sponsor or the person who is going to buy your stuff. Am I making myself clear? So
Yes, sir.
before conversing with that person, you think if what is required. That person need not know so many things, need not know the nitty-gritty of your art so much. He is not going to be an art critic. Even the art critic doesn't know so many things. He is or she is trying to sell you. What will be important? You have to strategize on that. Sitting with that person, make him part of the discussion that you are going to get a sponsorship for me. So, what are you going to talk to that person? What do you think that that person would like to have? Do you think that person would like to know about me? Because you are young now, you don't have so much of work that people look at your work and come to you. You don't have to advertise so much. Your name is known. But here you have to make your name known. So somebody has to go and tell about you, tell about your work. That is what you are saying. That is what I have understood. You are trying to market or get a sponsor through a person of different capacity, different talent. So get that person, get that person and explain it. Don't get into the nitty gritty of that. There is a person when you were talking. One of the team members told me that Abhinav is having the same problem as I have. What actually she meant is that he is into IT, so she tries to explain that complete coding thing to a layman. Don't try to do that. Try to understand what is the purpose of this conversation. Bring that person into the board. Recognize that is what Gita was also trying to say. Recognize that person's talent in getting work for you and try to provide the information he would like to have so that he is effective.
Yes.
Not the information you would like to give him. It should be the other way around. Let him decide what information he needs, what he needs to understand about your work so that he can get work for you. Am I making myself clear, Avinash?
Yes, sir. Sir, it very
Yeah.
much helpful, sir. Thank you so much.
So you are not trying to make an artist out of that person.
Yes, sir.
That person is doing a very crucial role because if you are an artist and if you don't have a sponsor, it
I
doesn't help,
yes,
right? We cannot just
Sustain.
survive on thin air.
yes, sir.
But that sponsorship, somebody has to get it. You don't have the patience or the kind of skills
Skills.
necessary to get that sponsorship. Sometimes it is a problem. This has been problem of my entire life to get sponsorship by myself. And the entire life, last 22 years or 20 years, I have not got anybody who can get sponsorship from me. So it is not going to be easy, but to be a start, you should be communicate that much which is required. If
Yes,
the
sir.
person wants to know of his own more things, tell them. There's nothing no harm. The more that person knows about you, more useful in marketing you. But if he is not going to take it, absorb it, give that much only which that person can absorb. There are a lot of questions coming.
Hmm.
Anyway, let me come back to Mandip and can you very briefly touch on Ankit, good speaker, communication. We have spoken many things about it, but very. Then I'll go to Kangana. Then we'll go to Nikita, and then there are some supplementary questions.
Yes.
Ankit, Ankit is not there. Ankit is not there, so we can forget about Ankit. Kangana, you are there?
Yes, I'm here.
Kangana?
Yeah, she's
Ah,
there.
Hello.
repeat
Yes,
your question.
yeah.
Repeat your question.
I want to I want to improve my leadership quality. I have faced many problems with my workers' demands, so I can't handle the situations.
Why can't you handle the situation? Have you tried to analyze?
No, their demands make me a very rude person, so I can't handle it calmly.
Hmm. See, there are two things I would like to say here. This is a very specific question, specific answer. Is your tea
Yes,
garden is a big tea garden or a small tea garden?
no big deal.
Big tea garden. How many
Yes,
workers are there?
yes.
How many workers are there, Kangana?
3,000.
3,000 workers.
Yes.
How old are you?
I can't understand your.
How old are you? How old are you?
What is your age?
Oh, 34.
You are 34. Which place you are
Yes,
from,
yes.
Kangana?
Dibrugarh.
Dibrugarh. Your tea
Yes,
garden is
yes.
near Dibrugarh, right?
Yes, yes.
You only manage or somebody helps you in managing?
No, no, only, lonely. Only minus.
You are only, but you must be having employees, managers and things like that, besides
Yes,
workers
I have
also.
a, I have a manager. Yes, I have a manager.
You have got a management. And
Yes,
you can't be rude.
yes,
Your explanation is that only a rude person can handle the workers.
yes.
Why do you think so?
No, I can't handle their demands. That
I got
makes
it.
me.
You can't handle their demands and they are unreasonable. That means you have not been able to handle the workers, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Their expectation you have not been able to handle.
Yes,
Okay, because it doesn't make so much a profit that you can give share so much share to the workers, right? That is your
right.
issue. Huh?
Yes, 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 yes. You have
Huh.
understand my situation.
Why don't you say so to them? First of all, see, there are a lot of legalities involved out here. If you are running such a big garden, there are a lot of
Yes,
legal requirements you have to oblige. Whether you are earning profit or not earning profit, if you have got so many workers working under you, then you have to have those medical facilities or those PF arrangement, everything you have to have, right?
right.
So you have to have. Now, what is the issue? The facilities are also almost given. This is the facility you have to give them. Almost
No,
given. Now,
uh,
Yes.
yes, tell me,
Tell us. Tell us.
Konkana?
no, they have said that they're very but awkward. It's their demand again. It's issues. So I fulfill their I want to fulfill their demands, but again, they're only again the same issues.
That means there are experiences that you fulfill your demand, their demand, and they come up with more demand, right?
Yes, yes, you're right, right,
Uh,
absolutely right.
you say that. See, the thing is that it is a greed and grievances kind of a thing. Whereas the grievances may be genuine. You use the word workers.
Yes,
I'll use two words for that. There are leaders, workers leader, and there are general workers. If you can differentiate between these two, because see, if I am a worker leader, what is my bread and butter? My bread and butter, I keep becoming leader only when I get more and more demand fulfilled. That is my compulsion as a leader. If I don't, these are leader means short time leader, but short sighted leader. In the process, they will kill the tea garden. They are not thinking about that. But their compulsion within their mind is that I have to give more and more to the workers so that my leadership is intact. So the biggest strategy in your leadership, to create another set of leaders who will be questioning those leaders about their unreasonable demands. I cannot say publicly more than this. Okay, the one thing about leadership is to create leaders. This is applicable to you. You cannot take root decision. Keep
Yeah,
a
yes,
set of people who can take those decisions. You take leadership and you go with an open mind. You are being two things. One thing is that I think you are not being smart. Not because you are looking at the leaders of the workers and you are thinking that all the workers are like this. Try to differentiate between leaders and workers. Number one. Number two, within your management, why everything is pushed up to you?
You, yes.
Why you are not creating leaders among the managers? Yes, Gita, you want to contribute something?
No, no, absolutely. What you said. Okay, why is everything being pushed to you? You're the owner. Why is every problem being pushed to you? Because your manager is supposed to lead with all this. And only those which he cannot handle or which have to absolutely come to you should come to you. Isn't it?
yes, yes, ma'am.
So you need to really have a look at your own staff, your manager, and what you can do to, you know, uh, to to get him or her to look at these issues before they come to you, and
Yes,
let
yes,
only those which are absolutely not decidable by them, let them come to you, but not each and everything.
See,
okay, ma'am.
yours is more than a self leadership. It is the organizational leadership question.
Yeah,
In organizational leadership, you have to
delegate.
use the business itself as the ground for developing your leadership. And the best way to become a better leader is to create another leader. There is no two way about it. Your second line has to be empowered or
Strong.
capable or taking more decision and more this thing. Of course, with your guidance, but
And
they
with your
should,
trust.
and with your trust and guidance, they should own up.
Yes.
You are look into that 3,000 people working. That means at least 1,000, 1,500 families are associated with you. You cannot take so much of decision. You cannot micromanage. You have to start
Yes, sir.
delegating. You have to start delegating, and they should be capable of handling those delegations. So I advise you to have a leadership training program for the entire staff and the union leaders together in your garden. It's a big garden. You have to invest that much. You have to come in the same plan that what you are thinking, because if you survive, then only all those 1,500 families will survive, right?
Right, sir.
Right. So your management is not working free. Let me put it very rudely. Your management is getting salary. They better become accountable and do their
Responsible.
responsibility. They do their responsibility. Maybe they are not doing their responsibility because you are not trusting them too much. You are trying to micromanage too much. Maybe you have to take a back seat and for some time not take decision. Don't say yes or no till you grasp the situation in a better way. We'll talk about that. It's a huge issue. It's not exactly self-leadership issue. It's an organizational thing. Offline, offline, you get into touch with Jabin or me. We'll talk to you about this.
Thank you,
How
sir.
to go about doing it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. Now, I'll come to the last of the prior question, then we'll take the supplementary to Nikita.
Yes, sir.
Priyanki, Priyanki, we have Priyanki. First, Priyanki, there's a very interesting question. Priyanki,
Yes, sir.
your question,
Introvert.
introvert.
Uh,
Gita, you have got a very, very ruthless answer to that.
No,
I am not very happy that
huh?
it is rather little bit harsh on her.
No.
But
It's not.
it is showing the light.
Yeah.
Maybe the words will be harsh, but showing the light. You please continue. I have to take a break. Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, Priyanki, you have
Yeah.
written that you're an introvert, and
yes, ma'am.
you are afraid of being judged by people, right?
Yes.
Yes. See, I'll tell you, fear is a very strong and very real emotion. Okay, and it cannot be dismissed that easily. Okay. See, an introvert is basically a person who is very comfortable with himself or herself, right? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you want to even and there is nothing wrong in being an introvert. Earlier, I mean, a long time ago, they would say there used to be this extreme introverts and extroverts and all that, but it no longer holds true right now. Okay. The thing is, ki, there's nothing wrong in being an introvert. Okay. The only issue is ki introverts have the tendency to, even when they're with other people, they are they're thinking about themselves. Okay, they're preoccupied with themselves most of the time. That is the main this thing of an introvert. Okay, are you there, Ma?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, so you can the best way to start, okay, to come out of your shell, okay, or to start becoming comfortable people with people is you can interact, you can start interacting with people only when you start becoming comfortable with them. You will become comfortable with people only when you become familiar with them. You will become familiar with people only when you start knowing them. Okay. So a good way to know people or to get to know people is by becoming a good listener. You listen, you find areas of common interest, and you start slowly interacting on those areas of common interest, in those areas of common interest. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and once you start interacting with people and once you find certain common grounds, it helps you in opening up. It will not be easy. Okay, and the thing is ki, uh, because you are so within yourself, you tend to, sometimes we imagine that people are judging us. Okay, sometimes they are judging us, and sometimes it's our imagination also which works. We think that even when they're not judging, they're judging us. Okay, so it is, you have to make an effort to let go of that belief, which is not easy. Okay, just try to let go of that belief that people are judging you. Okay, and this happens because you are not interacting, so you're not getting any feedback, right? Okay, a very important part of interaction is that when you interact, when your communication is never one way. When you are communicating with someone, you're immediately getting feedback from that person on your thoughts on what you are saying. Okay. But when you don't communicate, when you don't interact, you end up thinking about all the things that you want to say and are not saying. And at some point you will say, okay, people, I'm scared that people are judging me. Okay. The
Ma'am,
fear, yeah.
ma'am, actually, I want to say something. First of all, my English speaking is so poor, and so please forgive me if I say
No,
something
no, it's
that I should
absolutely
not say.
no, no.
Okay,
Right.
ma'am. At first, I was not like that when I communicate through Assamese. I am a speaker, public speaker, and debater.
Okay.
But when I get enrollment in my masters, then I need to communicate with my friends. Those are from out of Assam, and they are very good in English. That time, my confidence it is decreased, and I become like that. Now I'm fair to interact with the people. Though I'm student of mass communication and journalism, it's my field to interact with the people taking interview. But if there's someone's asks me to take interview in English, I'm stuck. I'm stuck my dialect and word. I at that moment I can't unable to find the proper word and communicate with them. So this is my problem. I really don't know how to overcome it.
Okay.
Acha,
Okay.
I'm warning Gita. Gita, this is absolutely your area. So maybe you should help her out in offline mode. It is a lot of question. Gita does this area much better. How to pick up the English and things like that. I advise you to get in touch with her. Okay, through our registered portal, you get in touch with Jabin, because this cannot be solved in 5 minutes question and answer kind of a thing.
Yes,
So
and yeah, and which actually points to the fact that you are not an introvert.
you are not
Yes,
an
ma'am. I
introvert.
was not like this,
No,
but
you are
I
still
have
not like
become
that.
now.
No. You are still not an introvert. And a person who was a public speaker and could debate and discuss and have dialogues, whether in Assamese or any other language, is not an introvert. Okay, so
Acha,
let me remove that out of your mind. It is not. It's not basically that you are an introvert. Okay, you are not one. Okay, in fact, you are speaking
Yes, ma'am.
very confidently. Okay, right now.
Priyanki,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
where are you studying? This school.
Yes, I am studying in Tashpur University.
Okay, the cross section of people from different parts of India.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see, listen to me. What you have said. I was also a public speaker debater in Assamese when I was in Guwahati, and then I went to jail. And I can write English, but I cannot speak English properly because I was not in practice. So you do all kind of wrong English you say and things like that. But ultimately, you need a very sympathetic environment, sympathetic friends, will allow you to speak in, even if it is mistake, you do that. But ultimately, it took many years. But I'll, I realized that if you think in Assamese and try to translate it into English, it never happens. You have to start thinking in English. Then only you will be better. But let me end it with that. Uh, uh, the taste is that ultimately whether you are going to dream in English or not, you have to dream in English. Then only you'll start becoming better in that language. You'll become better. There is no. It's a it takes little bit of time, but ultimately you'll become better. You have to read English, much more English books. You have to read. See,
Listen, Listen.
Listen. Listen, watch. Even if you are watching movies also or listening to audio books. आजकल बहुत सारे audio books हैं and things like that. Listening to this, you have to be environment. Like Gita always says, how does a young 4-year-old pick up a language?
2-year-old, 1-year-old actually.
1-year-old pick up a language by listening. You are always in the environment of people who are speaking Assamese, then you are not going to pick it up. If you are throw yourself into an environment where people are not speaking Assamese, and even when you are alone, you are more into listening to English or something like that, then you are going to pick up faster. With that, we'll stop your question right here because we are running behind time, and Nikita's question we have to deal.
Thank you so much, sir and ma'am.
Yeah, Nikita.
Yes, sir. Sir,
You have got 3 questions.
Yes,
I think
sir.
I think third part your answer is already done. I think
Yes, sir.
third part is done. We don't have to repeat that.
Yes,
And second part is also expectation part. You have already dealt.
Yes, sir. Sir, could I tell the self-confidence one?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell anybody anything. Puri number 1. You are talking about stability or something like that. Could you start from that? What is the example you are giving?
Sir, the first question which I had given was that as I'm in mass communication and journalism field, and we have immense scope here, like we have various fields, graphic designing, video editing and all. So I feel that I am kind of little good in everything, and I love to do all of that, including content writing and all. So I'm mainly confused that I don't want to focus on one field right now. I want to explore everything, but our masters is coming to an end. I have already reached the 3rd semester, so I'm really confused what to do and what not to do. So that's my confusion. Like, do I need to be stable and focus on one, or can I explore
I'll
many?
give you a very simple answer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very simple answer. Number 1, what you decide to do right now may not be the final thing which you'll be doing when you are 40. Take it from me. When you are 30 itself, you may be deciding to do something else within the mass communication itself. There are so many facets of mass communication. You are confused what to be picked up right now, right? Because you are slightly good in everything, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you decide one thing. I am taking it. I am putting my. I don't want to give so much of straightforward answer, but I am putting my neck out and telling you this from more, not less from self leadership aspect, but more from my life's experience. Okay. Be little bit smart about what you are going to pick up for specialization. Your question is 3rd semester and 4th semester, you have to do specialization, right?
Yes, sir.
That is the challenge. And looking at the specialization, your further career will be decided, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is your requirement? Is your requirement you have to be financially independent immediately? Or yes, your father is not rich enough to sustain you till about 35, 40, whatever you feel like.
Yes, sir.
See, he can do that.
I am not so I don't have such good relations with my father, so.
Okay. Why do you have a bad relationship with father? Anyway, take it.
Yes, sir.
That is also, he is also a stakeholder. So try to get into a good relationship. You see why you don't like him or what is it. It is again class of expectation. Maybe he is expecting you to become something else and you are trying to become something else. Maybe that. Let me not presume anything, but sticking to this, That means you need to be financially independent as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
So, what is that which gives you the fastest route to become financially independent?
Sir, I'm not sure about that.
Hey, you have to
Find
find out. Huh? That's
find
your
out.
line. Find out.
Sir,
Find out. What is the fastest route to become financially independent? Because something you may like very much, content writing. But content writing, if I know little bit about advertising, content writing is the work of very, very senior people. And maybe it is not available in Eastern India much. Okay. I know a person recently, he has put up in Facebook. I don't know him personally very much. Face to face, I have not never met him, but he is in touch with me. He has joined one PR and advertising firm. He did his PR this thing as an accountant, accountant, so that he get the feel. And it is in Bombay. He get the feel of what is happening in PR and advertising. So it is like that. What you want to become today, you may be thinking that I am putting doubts into it. Today, you may be thinking that you are very good in that. By what parameters? With whom you are comparing? এই অসমীয়াতে এটা কথা আছে, গছ নথকা ঠাইত এৰা গছেই গছ. Is it that? I am pretty sure you are good. But there are better people than you. You accept
yes.
it.
Yes, sir.
If you talk internationally or nationally. So, what is your goal? You want to go and get into a small job and continue learning in a big this thing organization. And even if you have to, I know many people in Bombay. It is not a easy life. Getting into train itself is it takes people lot of time. But to learn, you have to go maybe for that to Bombay, because all good advertising or mass communication firms are there. Mass communication that has different route. Which route do you think is the most viable route for a young people like you? Because there are certain things, content writing or political PR, this thing is also part of mass communication now. But for that, you have to be senior enough. Otherwise, people don't take you serious. Or you have to be part of a big organization. Think about all that. Take the information. What is the first thing? First option, what is the second option? Because if you don't get the first option, then is second option viable, financially viable? This is very important to make that judgment right now. I tell you one thing. Today you float. You may not, sometimes the route to your desire and goal can be a little bit longer. And your kind of line, the line you have got into, is a creative line. Creative line, whatever, degree is just a entry point. Why do I, if I am your employer or your sponsor, or if I give you business, why do I seek you? Because just because you have got a degree. But I know very well that degree is just a, because I don't want to take somebody where they don't know even ABCD. So you just, I expect him to know just ABCD so that you come to my organization, you start learning. If I am an advertising firm or that kind of a firm, media firm, then you come learning. Then you go for whatever expertise you are good at. So first is the entry point. Where the entry is, because there are a lot of entry barrier in your life. Where is the entry is the smooth, most easy. Get into that. Where the demands are most, get into that. And if you are smart enough, there's a trap of getting into a generalized kind of environment and getting into ordinary expertise. But you are smart enough, you will be able to come out of that. You will be able to prove yourself that you are different if you keep learning. But experience is very important. Experience is very important. Getting a bigger platform is very important. That is the starting point. If that is your goal. But if the goal is money only, then look for something which is monetarily viable. Look for something that you have to find out. So what is your goal? One, you can start very small, then grow. Problem with many profession is that if you start small, there's very little space to grow. For example, if an IT person knows coding and wants to get into designing, a big organization won't allow it to happen because it is compartmentalized. Big organization has got that problem also. So sometimes famous organization, but quantity wise not big, not many team members. You should get that kind of organization. Whereas a huge organization, everything will be compartmentalized. What your site table person is doing, you don't know. And she also doesn't know what you are doing or doesn't have the time to know also. So you should get in. That's why a lot of IT people gets into startup business. They don't want to get into TCS or Infosys or anything because starts up. There is no security. After 6 months, you may not have a job, but you get to learn much more and more wholesome kind of a picture. So that is one option. But that is your desire. You must prepare for the worst kind of situation also. Worst kind of situation is that you don't have the money to eat, money to stay. So you have to provide for that also first, that you have to have an expertise where it is easier to get a job. So a combination of both this approach will take you to places.
I think you can give an example of Arindam.
अरिंदम का एग्जांपल दिए तो वो दूसरा बात होगा. Some other time I will give. Arindam, we have got a young people. His exception is out of. I don't know about you. He was a genius. I took up a project for Assam government.
UNICEF.
No. Assam government dairy project. First was that Assam government dairy project where there is a small software has to be done for their cooperatives and they have to be taught. The whole officer has to be taught. This guy was just 19. One software development company of Bombay messed up everything and there's no money left. So I trusted them because that's not my subject. It's a big company. Everything is spent, very little money is left. Very little, peanuts. Then I told this young guy, can you do it? He said he was not a software developer. He was basically a hardware person. He did it. That was his first foray into software. He was a hardware person. He was learning, because he was so brilliant, he doesn't want to attend class. He got into some, what kind of a thing? Manipal, Sikkim Manipal University Study Center, where he doesn't have to study to pass. Then he ultimately, he did that software. He trained the older people. He was 19. The trainees were 40 plus, all of them. Older people. He did it for a very small money. Then he went for MCA in Bangalore. And after that, he realized, what is this nonsense going on? I am not going to continue study. He dropped out. Extremely confident about yourself. He dropped out.
Join the startup. Because you're saying startup.
Join the startup. He didn't join any of the known company. Because known company won't take him also. He doesn't have a master's also. And he passed out his BCA also from Sikkim Manipal. Who gives a damn about Sikkim Manipal? But a startup took him. His salary went on increasing. Now he's in Singapore. He is in Singapore. He is gracious enough for one huge training where I have to train 250 people together. And I was not confident of handling the video and PPT by any other person than him. He flew with his own money. Do that work out of gratitude because I had given him break, or he was roaming around in my office only, dealing with competence. He was not working or anything of that sort. So that is the story. That is the story. But there is a balance. He comes from a also teacher's family, not very rich. So that is the balance of life, where you get into things which satisfy your creativity. But let me tell you one thing, Nikita. Have you walked outside? No, no. Have you studied outside?
No,
No.
sir.
Then you do one thing. Get into be a little pragmatic and get into a company where you can learn things at the same time, get enough money to survive. The moment you get into a big company, take it from me, you're gone. You'll be doing this. You won't have time to learn for anything. Get into a smaller company means some kind of a startup where people are less. You will be doing cross section of people. Have you got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So take both the things into mind.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Kasturi,
She had another question.
who?
Gita had
Sir,
another question.
That is it.
No.
Question number.
She has another question. Just listen.
Yes. Tell me.
sir, it's actually regarding the self confidence thing. Actually, I will say it in a brief way. Means what happens when I work in teams or in group projects or anything like that. Even my friends say that, and even I realize that I am a really good team worker because I tend to push them to do great. I tell them that you can do it no matter how hard it is. You will be able to do it. No, I will be talking with them to 3 a.m., 4 a.m., helping them out, and our project ultimately turns out to be something great one also. But the problem is that I try and boost up their confidence real good, that when it comes to my turn or when it comes to myself, then that confidence rocket sinks down in my life because I lack so much of self confidence.
No.
So that's
Nothing
the
has
great
happened.
issue.
Nothing has happened. You are expecting too much of yourself.
Yes, sir, kind of.
You are still young. Don't expect so much of yourself.
Yes, sir.
You are intelligent. I can make out you want to excel in life. Now survive, get a proper platform and start working. Simple.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely simple. Don't expect so much. And about the teamwork, don't praise yourself. Ask the other members of the team how you are doing.
Yes, sir.
They may have something to say that you are pushing themselves too much.
Yes, sir. It might
People may
be.
not like their pushing. See, teamwork may a problem. I know another young woman. I'm giving so much of example. Another young woman who goes with me to the villages. I do entrepreneurship with a young woman there. She get restless. All of us not so sharp and intelligent, right? So they are general people and may not be intelligent. Brain may not work so fast. So you have to be empathetic and
Yes, sir.
understand that their brain may not work so fast. They are not exposed so much. So you have to start talking in that pace.
Yes,
That
sir.
is the main thing of team members. Starting team leaders' main this thing is that to cause who is good in what and get the best out of that talent. If somebody is good in content writing, don't try to get graphics done by that person.
Yes, sir.
It is your responsibility to get who can do what best. Okay, fine. So all I can see, become little bit of pragmatic because you have the issue of becoming financially independent very soon as possible. Become little bit of pragmatic, but don't throw your career growth just to get some money. Because getting as one of many is very easy. Very easy. You got what I am trying to say.
Yes, sir.
Getting into a see many of these young women, Assamese women who study in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, law person, and they get into a corporate firm. Ultimately, even in 15 years, they don't see the code. All they are doing is internet research for their lawyers. That is how the corporate firm works. Because it is glamorous, multinational corporate firm, because it is big office, they get into it, and by the time they realize it, there is no turning back. You're out of it after spending 5 to 10 years. Okay, I have been given signals that I am pushing my time. Kashmira, you have got certain more questions. We'll have to deal it one to
Gita,
one.
if there's anything, just message or send an email, okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I would love
Anybody
to be in
has got
contact
very
with
pressing
you both.
question who cannot wait for any more time. So I hope to see you alone. Sorry, I hope to see you again. I hope to see you again.
Okay, Kashmira.
Okay. Okay.
There was
So,
one question from Kashmira, I think.
Kashmira, what question? Oh, those questions. Team, leading a team.
Yes, sir.
Leading a team. Can you keep it for now? I'll try to deal it in a separate manner. I have to get into slight details about and get some inputs from Gita also regarding how a team you can be more effective with the team. Okay? Kashmira, is that okay with you?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Well, you are doing what, Kashmira? You are the person who are doing no, that is not
PhD.
okay.
She is doing
You are
a
doing
PhD.
PhD. You are doing PhD. Okay, we'll deal with that. I hope that
Okay, sir.
it is useful. Yes or no? Nobody will say no, but yes, listening to that yes, I feel good.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Totally enjoy
It's
and
very useful.
Kashmira,
and Dilip sir and Gita ma'am, you are so amazing.
you are so
Amazing.
amazing. Okay. Okay. Then Monday, okay,
Yeah.
you are
Yes,
happy?
sir.
Monday,
Yes, sir.
okay.
I'm happy.
Pallavi,
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir.
Pallavi,
I'm satisfied.
okay, okay. Avinash,
Avinash is left, I think.
Yes, sir.
no, no, he's there. I
He's
think.
there.
No, sir. No, ma'am.
Avinash is there. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, fine,
Good.
fine.
Good.
Yes, sir. It's very useful,
Okay,
sir, and very.
hello,
I will.
all of you. I hope that I see you in personally at some point of time. Okay, when all this COVID and all these things are not there. Okay, bye, and thank you, Gita.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
I
Thank
wish
you.
to.
Thank you,
Thank all of you
Thank you so
for
much,
being
sir and
there.
ma'am.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, bye.